This is when we turn the tables.
This is when we turn the tables, and the man who knows what he's talking about cider, gets to try some of my brews.
Yes, very good.
And I haven't brought any beers this time, purely ciders. So, we've got this, Orchard Assault, dry hopped turbo cider at 11.4%.
I really like your branding, it's really cool.
Snow White with a machine gun. Look, firing the apples out the machine gun there. Now these ones don't have labels. We've got a mulled cider and a ginger cider as well. So Peter is going to...
And how hoppy is this?
Extremely.
So we could have that first?
Yes, probably better.
Right.
How
strong is this?
This one is, I believe it's 10.8.
Great, that's wonderful. Spicy.
It's not as spicy as the test batch.
Ooh.
This was a 5-gallon one that I did.
I'm thinking that you use real spices.
I used mulling spices that you put into red wine for Christmas. Some dried orange peel and of cloves and cinnamon sticks, star anise, maybe, you know, all that kind of stuff. Just into primary fermenter. As it's fermenting, and then just let it do its thing.
I really like the aroma from that. Really. So the botanicals, it was fermented with the botanicals in it?
Yes. Yes, it was. Constructive criticism? You can be honest.
I like it very much. Yeah, mulled cider is something that's becoming quite popular. That's a very good mulled cider.
Thank you very much.
See, I like my cider and I like my spices. So it's very interesting though, because it is very much a world apart. Mulled cider, and so you work quite hard getting something that's balanced, spicy, it's not too spicy, and yet for some people that's too much flavour.
Yeah, true.
Already, so I'll give that a look.
Well, yeah, thank you.
Right, we're going to have a wee battle now, I think.
Okay.
The battle of the hops.
Battle of the hop ciders.
Can I tell you that you're going to win? Because this hop cider...
I'll just pour this out wherever.
Yeah. I don't mind doing the dishes. I never do any dishes at home. I can do the dishes in the cider shed. This hop cider was made 2 years ago. It's a mixture of 3 or 4 different hops. And I would not describe that as hoppy at all. This here is a hop-tastic.
Mental. And look,
11%.
I will allow you to use the Florida keyring. I took that to the Inverraman brewery in case they didn't have a bottle opener in a brewery.
Yeah, we don't have a bottle opener. You don't need a bottle opener. Take your pesky bottle opener.
Thrown back in my face.
Because of the spices, we're just...
Fair enough.
The last time I drank this was last year, and it was very nice indeed, but it had mellowed.
I'm very interested in this. As everyone knows, I'm a big aficionado of the hop ciders.
Look at that lovely colour from the hops.
It's really nice. Yeah.
2 years ago.
So this is Peter's own hop cider.
As I say, it's sort of mellowed.
I can detect hops at the back of my palate.
Yeah, we have been just drinking very spicy mulled cider, but I think actually what we're doing is cleaning out the glasses for the hop-tastic episode.
Oh, he's going for it. Oh, you don't need a bottle opener.
I didn't know it's plastic though.
No, it is.
Right, I'm really looking forward to this because I love hops, and I do think that can't drink beer for some reason, but I do love my hops. That's immense. That's the sort of level of hops that I can live with. Oh yeah. The thing that I was sort of found with working with the hops in cider is that that sort of citrusy element of the hops actually fits quite well with the cider, the sharpness of the cider.
Yeah.
So they do meet. Also there's that sort of floral aspect, which is a nice contradiction with beer sometimes, but with the cider it's already there. Obviously we've never used really, really good cider for such a massively exercise.
It's quite. I think it's got quite a tartness to it.
It's a lot of tartness. Yep.
I do like that, I must admit.
Yep.
But I suppose some people would maybe want more sweetness to it.
Yes. Well, having just spent a day blending Scottish Premium Snakebite, the Snakebite that I would have put out would have been about 10%. Dry is a dry thing, and it was just incredible. But we would never have been able to sell it.
No.
So in came the black currants, and it'll do what it'll do. I think people will really enjoy it. But I do like my dry ciders. I do like being able to sort of perceive the flavours and weigh them up.
Do you think there's a place? Do you think it's just far too out there at the minute? Like is there a place in the market, do you think, or could there a place be made for it, for hop cider? Because at the minute,
yes.
you can't buy this in the UK. No, you can barely buy it in America. I think there's a few craft breweries that do hop cider.
Yes.
But if you want it, you've got to make it yourself, essentially. And it's really tasty. I
mean, it's
surprised no one's done it so far, to be honest.
Well, there's a lot of lovely cider being made, and by the same token, just as it's very difficult to buy hop cider, it's also very difficult to buy good quality English farmhouse cider. Yeah. And there's a lot more of that going about. So I'd like to see that addressed first. And then in terms of innovation, the innovation that's going on in the States, there's a lot of very big companies behind it. And even within the craft market in the States, some of the special editions that put out, they exist in the press release, they advertise the brewery's got a big multinational backer, and do you ever get your hands on the special edition? So it's difficult to tell really what the reality is on the ground. I love it. As I say, beer makes me go a wee bit funny these days, unless it's a very, very good beer. So if I'm going to get my regular injection of hops, I'm going to have to start working hop cider.
Obviously, I'm only working to essentially a 20 litre capacity, but I can give you the recipe what I did, and you could upscale it if you want.
Well, I've been intrigued to see how you made it, because I know how we made it. Actually, we've probably got some raw hop cider around somewhere. Yeah. So, the last thing today is the ginger cider. You like ginger?
I do.
You're a ginger lover?
I'm a lover of ginger, yeah. I actually back sweetened this one, I put some extra sugar in afterwards because I felt it was too tart in it. I'm thinking the next time I make it, because what I sometimes do with back sweetened ciders is I'll boil down apple juice to get a concentrate to then add to the fermenters to try this one. What do you think? Honestly, I'm not sure it's really...
Well, I would, to sort of comment on what you're saying about levels of sweetness, let's put aside that authentic farmhouse cider that was made just the way that great-great-grandfather did, and beautiful, world-class product, which we do undervalue greatly in this country. Let's put that aside, and then talk about something that's a little bit more relevant to what's going on here. In terms of flavour, when I'm working with ginger, I think that the sweetness helps round off the ginger flavour. So people talk about cider and dry, medium, sweet, etc. But the craft agenda is all about flavour, making something that works for the flavour. So it's not frightened of sweetness. I think a lot of people who care about brews are actually terrified of sweetness because sweet equals cheap and nasty or whatever. But if that sweetness is coming from something that's matured or real fruit that's matured in the cider or, you know, I think it's totally legitimate. Yeah. And I like that because I'm tasting the ginger that's been fermented and the cider. I think it's quite a flat ginger flavour, and then we're using the fresh ginger, that brings a lot of higher notes to it as well. So the combination, they're both I'm quite interested by.
Well, as I say, I haven't tasted your ginger cider yet, but
You haven't lived.
I'm sure it kicks some heads on that one anyway. But
No, I think if I was sitting at home, I'd be sitting with a bottle of Thistly Cross, which is about 4% for duty. And then I'd be topping it up with yours. What's this, 10%?
it's about 10.2 or something.
That's more like it. So, that's very nice.
Great. Oh, how do you like them?
I'm intrigued by the fermented ginger thing that's going on there. But I would say technically, the minute you start fermenting apples and other fruits together, it becomes fruit wine. But then again, most purists would want to shoot me anyway for some of the cardinal sins that have committed against the cider world. So I shouldn't really comment. There we are.
Well,
good.
Great. I'm glad you liked them.